Hello. I really wanted to show the work we're doing on this grand piano lid here, and I wanted to show this because I really wanted to show the revival capabilities of French polish and talk about how you don't always have to totally strip and re-French polish your piano, which can often be very costly. So if we look at this lid here, this is the lid of a Broadwood grand piano, and it suffered quite a bit of water damage. You can see the finish is crazed in places. There's some mold, as you can see there, and there's quite a lot of these white white spots, which are damage from water, plant pots, leaks, things like that. And obviously there's a really strong sun bleach line on the lid as well. So we've got blistered grain, we've got mold, and we've got water damage. So I want to talk about how we can tackle that and the process of which we're going to go about reviving this and do so while maintaining all of the original finish and patina. And I hope to talk through the process and show you how we're going to do that. So the first step of the process here is that we're going to give the lid a really fine sand. So we're using a really fine grit here. This isn't your typical sort of 80, 120 grit that you'd get from a local hardware store. We're not looking to remove any finish here. So the reason we're doing this is for a few reasons. The first one is the blistered grain that I mentioned. So we want to flatten all that out and create a really nice smooth surface when you run up your hand over the finish. And this also serves to remove any grease, grime and contaminants that are on the surface, and simultaneously creates a really nice key, what's known as a key, which is a nice sort of mechanical binding for the new finish to bind onto, and that means we get a really strong lasting finish when we apply our new polish. Once we've sanded, the next step is we're rubbing the lid down here with a chemical degreaser. The reason we're doing this is for a couple of reasons. It's going to help remove any of the remaining dust from the sanding, but it's also going to make sure this lid is totally free of any contaminants that may get in the way of our new finish chemically bonding with the existing finish. So any dust, dirt, grease and grime, in case any of that remains after the sanding, this will get it, and that'll make sure we'll have a nice bonding between the finishes. And here we are after the sanding and degreasing, and we can finally apply some new polish. So just a quick thing to say about this is pure shellac polish we're adding here on top of the existing French polish. However, we have made some modifications. So what we've done is this is a very different solvent blend. So we've chemically altered the polish to have a much more aggressive solvent makeup and a bigger open time. And this is extremely important because if we have shellac that's typical French polish, which just has alcohol, it's going to evaporate and dry very quickly, and that may impact its ability to dissolve and amalgamate into the original finish. What we're doing here that's crucially important is we need to make sure our finish is truly chemically bonded and has dissolved and melted into the existing French polish. And that's why we're adding all these layers, and we're spending a really nice time working with this heavy solvent blend. And here we are. So this lid is now looking really nice. So this is it after we've put down our new polish. We haven't put down very much polish at all here. The goal of what we've done so far has been to redissolve and work with the original polish. We've probably applied about as much French polish as we would have taken off with the sanding at the beginning. So effectively this lid is back to how it would have been prior to the water damage. So we now have a nice smooth surface, and we've removed all of that blistered grain and a great deal of the water damage. And now we can move on to the fun bit, which is removing all this sun bleaching. So the process here is that we create our own blend of French polish that we tint with specialist colours that is then very carefully colour matched to the existing colour of the piano. So most pianos were originally polished with a tinted or coloured polish, and that's the same process with this piano. So what we're doing here is we're creating a colour to lay down over the sun bleaching that then should hopefully seamlessly blend in with the original polish. This is something that takes a long time, a lot of experience, and we apply it very, very slowly to tease in that finish until we're confident that we have a really natural looking blend. So we don't really want to see any sharp lines there. And let's see the results. And here we are. I'm really happy with how it's come up. I think it looks really natural. It doesn't look like it's been coloured or over polished, which is the goal. It simply looks like it was never sun bleached. So I'm really happy with how this is looking. So the next step of the process here, because the coloured polish is slightly weaker, it's not as strong as the original polish, we're now going over the whole lid with a nice solid coat of French polish. And the goal here is to also create the final finish. So we're laying this out really thin and really smooth in a way that will give us a really, really nice finish. One point I want to make here is that you'll notice I'm working in straight lines with the grain. Sometimes you see me working with oil, sometimes you see me working in circles in our other videos. And one of the beautiful things about French polish is the way you apply it can create different finishes. So with this case, we can see, looking at the original finish, that this is how the French polish was originally applied. You can tell because there's a very subtle diffusion that's working parallel to the grain, and that's really important. So we want to create that same diffusion of light in the new finish that we apply to make sure it's going to seamlessly blend with the rest of the piano once the lid goes back. So here we are. This is just a quick reminder of the lid when it came into the workshop. So looking nice and worn, sun bleaching, lots of blistered grain, and let's see the transformation and let's see how it's come up. And here we are. We're really happy with how this has come out. The sun bleaching is blended really naturally. We have a really nice even sheen. I'm confident that the way we've applied the finish is extremely similar to the original polish. So it doesn't look out of place at all. All the water damage has been fixed. Really smooth. We've removed all the blistering. And we've blended the sun bleaching in a way that I think looks really natural. So I'm really happy with this, and I hope you agree, and thank you for watching, and I hope you found the look at the process here interesting. And if you have a piano that needs restoring, or if you have any questions, please get in touch. Thank you very much.